I, Mrs. Neeta Ivle, welcome one and all to next lecture of Organization of Commerce and Management subject. We are studying fourth chapter, that is Business Services. In last lecture, we understood meaning and features of business services, right? In this lecture, we are going to discuss five business services. The first one is banking. Let's see what is banking. A banking is a financial institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans, right? For what? The institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans. Banks may also provide financial services such as wealth management, currency exchange, and safe deposit boxes. In simple words, banking can be defined as the business activity of accepting and safeguarding money owned by other individuals and entities, and then lending out the money in order to earn a profit. The term bank comes from the French word banco, which means a bench. In earlier days, money lenders used to display coins to different currencies in big heaps or benches or tables for purpose of lending of exchange. A bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits from the public and creates a demand deposit while simultaneously making loans. A bank is a financial institution which deals with deposits and advances and other related services. Bank provides various services related to money and financial requirements of customers. Now see the definition. As per the Indian Banking Regulation Act 1949, right? Indian Banking Regulation Act 1949. Banking company means any company which transacts the businesses of banking in India. And the word banking has been defined as accepting for the purpose of lending and investment of deposits of money from public, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawable by check, draft, or order or otherwise. Now see, I have collected some interesting facts for you. Let's have a look. Banking in its modern sense developed in the 14th century in the prosperous cities of Renaissance Italy. The Bank of England originated the permanent issue of banknotes in 1695. Then the Royal Bank of Scotland established the first overdraft facility in 1728. Later we are going to understand what is overdraft facility. I think you know this. In BK also we have understood what is bank overdraft, right? By the beginning of 19th century, Lubbock's Bank had established a bankers clearing house in London to allow multiple banks to clear transactions. Now let's see the types of banks. In this chapter, we are going to understand 8 types of banks: central bank, commercial bank, cooperative bank, development bank, exchange banks, regional rural banks, saving bank, and investment bank. Now let's see one by one. The first bank we are going to understand is central bank. What is central bank? Central banks enact monetary policy by easing or tightening the money supply and availability of credit. Central banks can seek to keep a nation's economy on an even keel. A central bank is a financial institution that is responsible for overseeing the monetary system and policy of a nation or group of nations, regulating its money supply and setting interest rates. A central bank sets requirements for the banking industry. A central bank can be a lender of last resort to troubled financial institutions and even government. In 1935, the Reserve Bank commenced operations as India's central bank on April 1st as a private shareholders bank with a paid up capital of rupees 5 crores. In 1949, the Government of India nationalized the Reserve Bank under the Reserve Bank Act 1948. Currently, the bank's central office located at Mumbai has 27 departments. These departments frame policies in their respective work areas. They are headed by senior officers in the rank of Chief General Manager. And you must know that Shaktikant Das is the 25th Governor of the Reserve Bank of India from 12th December 2018. Central Bank is the apex financial institution in banking industry in the country. Every country has their own central bank. In India, the Reserve Bank of India is the central bank. Okay. Now see some functions of RBI. Framing monetary policy, then issues currency notes, then acts as a bankers to the government, acts as a bankers bank to commercial and other banks in India. So these are the main functions of RBI. Okay. Now let's see the second one, that is commercial bank. Commercial banks offer consumers and small to mid-sized businesses with basic banking services including deposits accounts and loans. These banks make money from a variety of fees and by earning interest income from loans. Banks have traditionally been located in physical locations, but a growing number of these banks now operates exclusively online. Commercial banks are important to the economy because they create capital, credit and liquidity in the market. The commercial banks play an important role in economic and social development of a country. In India, commercial banks are divided into three groups. Okay, which are these three groups? The first is public sector banks. Now, where majority of capital is held by government, such as Bank of India, State Bank of India, etc. These banks are held by state government or central government or both. SBI, that is State Bank of India, is a public sector bank and the largest bank in India with 23% market share by assets and a 25% shares of total loan and deposits market. Now second group is private sector banks. These banks are owned by group of individuals such as Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, etc. HDFC Bank is the fastest growing bank in India. As of April 2001, HDFC Bank is India's largest private sector bank in terms of assets and market capitalization. Okay. So in public sector SBI and in private sector HDFC Bank is the largest bank in India. Now the third one is foreign banks. These are those banks which are established outside India, but these banks have branches in India such as Citibank, HSBC, Standard Chartered, etc. Commercial banks perform important functions such as primary functions and secondary functions. In primary functions, these banks accept deposits and lend money, and the secondary functions includes agency functions, that is utility function, and these both, that means primary functions and secondary functions, we are going to study in next part of this chapter. Now see the third type of bank, that is cooperative bank. A cooperative bank is a bank owned by its members. Members are clients who own at least one member share of the bank. Cooperative banks are private sector banks. Don't forget that. These are private sector banks. That means those owned by private individuals. Commercial banks mostly provide short-term finance to industry, trade and commerce, including priority sector like export, etc. Okay, we understood it. Now, the cooperative banks usually cater to the credit needs of agriculturists. So they are going to provide loans for, mostly they are going to provide loans for agriculture or to the farmers. Cooperative banks are financial entities established on a cooperative basis and belonging to their members. This means that the customers of the cooperative bank are also its owners. These banks provide a wide range of regular banking and financial services. In India, cooperative banks are registered under Indian Cooperative Societies Act and regulated under Banking Regulation Act. The changes to the Banking Regulation Act approved by Parliament in September 2020 brought cooperative banks under the direct supervision of the RBI, that means Reserve Bank of India. The amendment law has been given RBI the power to supersede the board of directors of cooperative banks after consultation with the concerned state government. Cooperative banks are popular in semi-urban and rural areas. The main aim of cooperative bank is to provide credit to economical backward people, farmers and small scale units. Cooperative banks outperform shareholder banks on a number of measures. They generate more stable long-term profits, they provide better customer service, and they boost local economics by lending more to small and medium-sized businesses. When a cooperative society engaged itself in banking business, it is called a cooperative bank. It's very obvious. In India, at present, there are total 31 state cooperative banks. Saraswat Bank, I think you may have heard this name. Saraswat Bank, which born as a Saraswat Cooperative Banking Society on September 14, 1918. Saraswat Bank is the toppest cooperative bank in India. Other important cooperative banks are Cosmos Cooperative Bank, Shamrao Vittal Cooperative Bank, etc. Generally, the cooperative bank works at three levels. The first one is primary credit societies. These are formed at village or town level with the borrower and non-borrower members residing in one locality. Primary credit cooperative society works at village level. They collect deposits from members and common public. The operations of each society are restricted to a small area so that the members know each other and are able to watch over the activities of all members to prevent frauds. They also get funds from the state cooperative bank and district cooperative banks for the purpose of lending. Reserve Bank of India is both the controller and inspecting authority for the primary cooperative banks. The second one is District Central Cooperative Bank. These banks operate at the district level, having some of the primary credit societies belonging to the same district as their members. These banks provide loans to their members. Who are the members? Primary credit societies in the locality, and function as a link between the primary credit society and state cooperative banks. Okay, so they are link between primary credit society and state cooperative banks. These banks operate at district level. They obtain deposits from the public at the district level and also get funds from the state cooperative banks for the purpose of lending. Now the third one is state cooperative bank. These are the apex, that means highest level cooperative banks in all the states of the country. This bank operates at state level. They mobilize funds and help in its proper channelization among various sectors. The money reaches the individual's borrower from the state cooperative banks through the central cooperative banks and the primary credit societies. They provide funds to central cooperative banks and primary credit societies as required. State cooperative bank also perform function of monitoring over district bank and credit cooperative societies. Friends, today we understood 3 types of banks out of 8. Hope you got it. Let's have a quick recap of today's learning. Today we understood 3 types of bank, that is central bank, commercial bank and cooperative bank. We also understood the types of commercial banks. Those are public sector banks, private sector banks and foreign banks. We also understood the types of cooperative banks, that is primary credit societies, district central cooperative bank and state cooperative bank. Friends, in next lecture we will study remaining 5 types of banks. Thank you for watching today's lecture attentively.